I'm gonna try to make this video quick. Loud ass bird. So this is probably the longest I've been single in a really long time, and it's allowed me a lot of time to realize the pattern I've been putting myself in, the lack of self-love that I had, and the specific type of women I would meet as well. I've had one long-term, like really long-term relationship in my life, and that was in high school from like 2014 to probably 2019, and it was on and off, and it had its own issues and problems within itself, for sure. And it's funny, at that young age, you don't even realize like what you're doing to yourself or what we were doing to each other in a way. I took what I took from it and moved on, and she took what she took from it and moved on. And I feel like, not to compare our lives at all, but I took a route of chaos and like despair and heartache and heartbreak. Because after her, I took a few months to myself, and then I met one person at the beginning of 2020. And you know, I've always wanted a life partner, someone to share life with and share genuine love and compassion. You know, I think in 2020 I was 21 years old, I was 21 years old. So, you know, I'm really like looking forward to finding that person. And I started dating this person in January 2020. And you know, I was trying to take my time with it. I never really dated outside of what I knew in high school. So I was trying to take my time with it, give it a few months to see where she was at. And she was not fucking with that, and felt I was taking too long. And that put a lot of pressure on me. And I'm like, damn, I can't miss out on this person that I like a lot, because, you know, I'm a little hesitant for whatever reasons. But in hindsight, I needed to take that time, for sure, and not let someone's desires influence mine. So yeah, man, I tied the knot, so to speak, and then like a week or two later, she cheated on me. Went to a party, got very drunk, and did her thing. And you know, I won't dive in too much into that situation, but in her eyes, she felt like she was taken advantage of, and in a way she was, for sure. But I wasn't there, and I will never know the side of, you know, I know her side of the story, but I'll never know the truth really as to what happened. And I realized that just kind of fucked me up on my path of dating, because I tried to stick it out, and I stuck it out for 2 years, and then within those 2 years, I created a lot of chaos for myself and for her. And then when I realized what the fuck I was doing, I had to cut that off. But then I went on this path, man, of the last few years, I would say, maybe 2022 till now, of rushing into things, because I felt that I missed out on what I was looking for, which is a wife and long-term partnership and building a life with someone. And I do still have those desires, but, you know, through the past few years of dating, it has definitely changed. For the better, I would say now. But within those couple years, I was getting to know people within like a month and diving into very intense relationships. A lot of them fueled by sex, to be honest. That's okay, we all crave that shit, but sometimes it's better to just fuck and not be in a relationship with someone, you know? But I was still looking for that. So anyone that I felt had that potential, on that surface level at least, I would dive into it. And then as we would get deeper, I'm realizing like, damn, I don't really like this person like that. Or they're showing characteristics that don't align with me, or things, doing shit that I do not value, So I would say in 2024 is when I kind of had my breaking point, because I dated someone I knew back when I was younger, and they were a friend, and I like kind of cling to that idea of us like kind of missing out on each other this whole time. And she sucked, bro. She was mean, didn't have her life in order. Not to say that I did. There was some shit I still needed to figure out, but she was just rude and disrespectful and off-putting and low-key an asshole. And that shit fucked me up. And once I got to my breaking point with her, I met someone else who was completely opposite of her on that surface level, though. And then as I got deeper with her, I literally broke up with that girl, and then a week later was like talking to this girl and getting pretty serious. So, I was just creating a pattern, a loop, and this was something I've been doing for the past 2-3 years, man. But anyway, with this last relationship, I fell for her tremendously like I've never felt for anyone in my life. And I don't know where that came from. It might have been from experiencing something so shitty and then experiencing someone who treats me completely opposite. But as time went on, she started treating me the same, doing petty shit, being very distrustful. She had her own shit she needed to work out. And some other things happened that I won't really get into that are just very personal. But yeah, I just kind of snapped at that point. And I think my concept of finding a life partner and being in a long-term relationship has died. Not died necessarily, but it's more of something that I have pushed to the side, and I'm focusing on other things. But I still want that shit, It adds a quality to life that I'm not used to really seeing. It helps you live longer. I'm sure it's nice to have someone you can depend on, and just true partnership and bond, like a bond that's unbroken. And you just know that this person has got you through thick and thin. I look at the people around me, especially older people, and I don't want to get old and be like them and be lonely and bitter and distrustful and paranoid and just negative about relationships in general. There's a lot of older people like that in my life, and I refuse to be that way. But anyway, after that last relationship, some things started waking up inside me. And I'm just sick of that pattern. So, I realized you got to take your time to really get to know someone for real. And I don't know if there's a time frame for that at all, but I know that I was not taking the amount of time that I needed to really get to know someone before committing to them. Because once you commit to a person, it creates this like, okay, you got me, I got you. And then when, me in my case, when I would switch up and be like, I don't know if I really want to be with you, it creates a lot of pain for the other person. And I just realized how I was affecting other people's lives who were probably ready for the shit that I was ready for too. But it's like we got to be on the same page to make that work. So, yeah, man, I've just been taking my time. More time than I usually do. And I also realized that I didn't have like self-love and self-respect for myself, as cliche as it sounds. I'm letting girls have sugar daddies while they're with me. All types of shit, that's like just one thing that's very ego-based, bringing up that example. But, talking down on me, crossing boundaries that are just insane, that I would never do to them. And just creating stress in life that doesn't need to be there because you have your own shit that you need to work through. But during this time, I realized, like I said, I didn't have any really self-love and self-respect, and I'm starting to understand what that is, and I'm starting to understand my value of who I am. Because I'm a good-ass dude, bro. I think I'm a pretty good dude. And you know, I have my mistakes too, and things I need to work on in certain areas, mostly financial. But yeah, man, you got to know yourself before you really commit to someone, and that was something I didn't really know. So I guess all I really have to say is, man, is that if you notice a pattern in your life that's leading you to a lot of despair and heartache and stress and anxiety and depression, take a step back and realize what you're lacking. What you're lacking, you know, and where you're kind of messing up and creating a loop for yourself. And then take that time to yourself and figure it out so you can go back out there and be a good dude and be fully committed to someone that you know you want to be committed to, rather than wasting time and years of your life. You know, I don't view those times as a waste at all, but they're all learning experiences. But I could have saved myself a lot of heartache and regret, or not even regret, just a lot of negativity, man, negative energy that I didn't need in my life. So yeah, it's the journey of not creating the loop I have been creating is beautiful, and I feel strong, I feel more powerful, I feel more self-aware, and capable as well of giving my all to someone who really deserves it. And I don't know if I'll ever find that person. We'll see. You know, it's not really a priority to me right now, which is also relieves a lot of stress that I used to feel back then. So yeah, man, all I have to say is that, you know, as cliche as it sounds, like I said before, just love yourself. Be aware of yourself and aware of the person that you're involved with, and make sure they're feeding you and not taking things from you and stripping you of your energy and your characteristics and your values that you have. You know, stay strong in yourself. And if that woman doesn't align with you, get the fuck up out of there and move on. And yeah, just don't waste time. It will save you, it will bring you a lot of peace. But anyway, y'all, peace, man. Thanks for listening.